Well, outside the video store is a show called Off Our Stones. We got Andrew and me and a friend Cody. We're gonna rank some fucking songs. Random songs gonna rank songs. The longest list in the whole damn town. Longer than old King Kong. Meaner than a junkyard dog.
Hey!
Did anybody want Alejandro Kirk? We'll trade for Alejandro Kirk. You can take him. He's too slow. He's not a good enough bat. He calls a good game, but no. If anybody wants him, hit me up.
There's your offer, folks. Welcome to Off Our Stones, episode number 24, or as I'm calling it, Cody's last veto. Basically, Brooklyn and I came together, looked at the Rolling Stone Top 500 list, and went, we could do a lot better than that. Right, Brooklyn?
Yes. Yeah. If only somebody on this show had suggested the show to us beforehand. And was like, man, what a great idea that'd be.
It would have been a lot easier to come up with this. And Cody's here. Cody being the voice of the people. Cody's had the chance to veto 10 songs and
not enough, actually.
And switch the locations of 5 of them. He's still got one of each of those, but today is the last episode that Cody can use the veto. The switcheroo he can use until, I think we agreed, number 20.
Yeah.
But he's got one left in his pocket. I know he's the man who wants to use all of his timeouts before the end of the game. So, Cody, what are your thoughts on today's episode?
Lackluster. Not that the songs are lackluster. My veto is going to be lackluster because I'm using it. But I'm waiting. That switcheroo. I don't care what song it is. I'm an egotistical maniac, and it will be in the last time I get to use it. I will use it just for shits and giggles. So you can wait a couple episodes for that. We always start the show with dancing, but I've done 24 of these episodes. I'm just out of dancing. I don't have much left in me. So, with that being said, this should be fine. We're getting to a point, like I said last time, the songs are just, 1, they're going to get a high placement. 2, because you guys came together and even you guys don't probably agree with the placement, even though, because you both had it on your list, it had to equal some point. So, it could both be in the 50s, but I doubt, that would be kind of crazy if both, all these songs were top 50. But we'll see. But yeah, should be fun. We've only got, 5 more episodes of this? 6 more?
Yeah, 5 more.
5 more.
We're almost there, so let's go with the bang. And by the way, that person that suggested this, me. I am the creative director of this channel. So
I want you to know it was me.
Me, Austin. It was me.
All right, let's get things started with number 60, California Dreamin' by the Mamas and the Papas. We had this one actually really close in our rankings. I had to lower those, so I'm starting first. Brooklyn, where was this in the Rolling Stone one? It was 420?
It was way too fucking low.
Way too fucking low. This is just one of those ones that it's everything comes together for it. The production on this is absolutely incredible. Where everything is in the layering. Oh my god. The harmonies. Holy shit, the harmonies on this song. It creates this almost gothic kind of atmosphere to it, especially when you combine it with the lyrics and how detailed they are. The whole stopped into a church I passed along the way. It creates this incredible feeling, this world almost. And then you get that fucking flute solo, which is just the absolute perfect way to tie this song all into an amazing bow. There's just so many things going on for it that it's an absolutely incredible piece.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the line that you did, because the one that I wanted to mention was the one right after. It's I got down on my knees and began to pray, because I thought that was a really good example of songs that carry that tension. But this is one of the rare examples that it has the tension, but it has the call and answer, and it doesn't like the answer doesn't like resolve the tension. I think it just kind of it sustains it really well. Especially having the two of them and having that real like depth of harmony. You mentioned the flute as well, and I was thinking it's a good solo, like it builds up to it, but I'm wondering now is like, do you change that with something else? I think it's just a little slow to start. But yeah, it's like I think it's the perfect song for like this time of the year, I guess. Like it's very kind of like dreamy of like just wanting the summer days, and you want the sun to be out, not to be cold and freezing like it is here. But yeah, I'm glad that we gave this song the recognition that it deserves. There should only be 2 numbers in its slot, and yeah.
Yes, and I don't know what it feels like to be cold anymore, having moved to Florida. So
You're lucky.
We'll see. Wait till July hits. Cody, what are your thoughts on this song? Does it deserve its spot? Is it overrated?
So I made a point at the start of the show that said even you guys wouldn't agree with the placement because it's like 60s and you both had it in the top 20. So, and you both went, meh. Point proven. Exactly right here. Anyways, on that note, this song carries, I guess I know it, like I'm not a music person, but I just know it by name. Like overall, like the Mamas and the Papas and then California Dreamin', like it passes like the common, so which is surprising after listening to the song. Like I've listened to it 100 times probably in my life, but like I don't ever like go to it. But for it to pass, like, and I guess that's it's just it's so uniquely put together, and from this time frame for it to still have the resonance it does, it's pretty cool. So yeah, I think it deserves a list. I'm kind of surprised that you guys don't have it higher from basics of what the show has done and what the list has like given us, and like kind of music that you guys kind of gravitate towards. This seems like a sure 60s, but it seems like both of you would have it in your top 100, like not outside the top 100. So
yeah, I think now, I think now it would be top 100. I think 60 is fair, and I think especially given how often we used it last time as an example of like, look at how skewed the ranking is for the Rolling Stone list.
There was a Bad Bunny song that was like way above this in the Rolling Stone list, which like no disrespect to Bad Bunny, but like. Huh? But yeah, I kind of thought.
Where is the Bad Bunny on this list? More Bad Bunny
on this list. Don't worry, Cody. You're not going to be able to change anything. Bad
Bunny. Oh my god.
No, not really.
I was like, I've made the wrong. I'm negotiating a veto past the 50s.
All right, let's move on to number 59 on our list. All Too Well by Taylor Swift. Just a quick little thing before Brooklyn starts.
Veto.
I know exactly what's about to happen, but let's play the clip anyway, Mr. Producer Man.
That's called a veto.
Yeah, here we go. All right, Cody, tell us more. What are you replacing it with?
Well, these two scumbags, and they were going to give you a disclaimer before this, and I'm not going to let them do the disclaimer before I get to talk. They were going to let Scooter Braun's version of this song make the list.
We do not support Mr. Scooter Braun.
I'm talking. She took ownership of her music and re-recorded her songs and put Taylor's version behind it when she took ownership, which kind of like, I think, say what you want about Taylor Swift. Like, I think there's a lot of things like people can complain about her. Basically, I just treat it like the thing from the interview. You hate her because you ain't her. Like any artist that makes like $1 billion and takes back her music and like changes the industry for everybody else. Like that's something that you can, even if you hate her, you can respect what she's doing. But overall, what she did was All Too Well. She came out and made a 10-minute version. It's the better version. It's the better version of the song. It sounds like an insane thing, but she's a really good storyteller at the end of the day. Like she knows how to tell a story. she also knows how to tell like a breakup story very well, and that's what the song is. It plays like a short movie, even though that movie got ripped apart in Letterboxd, which it should have. But the song itself, really, really good. I took a deep dive over Taylor Swift's like first 5 albums. I've listened to all of it. I think she's very talented, and I think if you're going to put the version of it, put the 10-minute version on it, because I think it actually does add a lot of like anger and like frustration into that song versus what the song originally was. So, Scumbags, not really. They did this prior to her releasing Red.
Yeah, I was
So,
gonna ask, was this version out whenever we made the list?
No, it
I don't
wasn't.
think so. I think it was like 2 weeks or something like prior
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
Of course, she drops the 10-minute Taylor's version like shortly after we had already made the
Yeah, like did the
list.
numbers, everything.
The only person that doesn't like this version is Jake Gyllenhaal. He literally his life was on warning after this song. Because people are like, that was like 10 years ago. Leave me alone. Like, yeah, you still have that scarf, you scumbag. Like, yeah, it was crazy.
Real quick, Brooklyn, what are your thoughts?
Couple things. I agree with Cody that the 10-minute version has a little more sharpness to it, I guess. You can kind of tell it in her delivery. There's lines that are more impactful to her this time around. My thoughts on, like, I guess the song overall, like regardless of the version, I guess. We were talking a little bit ago about Scott and kind of what makes a Scott song. And I was talking before how like it's like a simplistic sort of musical arrangement with this like really intricate kind of not witty storytelling, but it's stuff that's kind of like it's very informative, I guess you would say. And that this song has one of my favorite lines in song. Like it's up there. The line in particular, you're casually cruel in the name of being honest. Like I put that up there with like they're sharing a drink called loneliness. Well, it's better than drinking alone. Like it's one that you need. Like it's one that I don't need to hear the rest of the song. Like just give me the last verse, and I can get all the payoff that was already built up for it. But yeah, it's really cool. It's like it's a great drive home song, and I think that's where it fits.
We did it again, Brooklyn, because I was going to pick the line right before that. You called me up again just to break me like a promise. That was the line that I always really liked. And also the line about the dancing in the refrigerator light, just like nice little touches like that. So both versions, I think that she's doing some of like the best storytelling of her career, including in like her performance. The 10-minute version is fantastic. I can't really say any more other than this is Taylor Swift's best song with a bullet, and I will hear nothing otherwise unless you say "This Is Me Trying" or "Anti-Hero." Then whatever.
Should have said no.
Should have said no. It was really good.
That's a good one too. That's a good one too.
Well, here's the viewpoint on it. The fact is, I don't think people realize how many hits she truly has.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just
like
if
you
like,
played her songs, everybody would be like, "Yeah, Taylor," and then you'd be like, and then 50 songs later, you'd be like, "Holy shit, I know 90% of all the words to every one of these songs." Like, she has a power, and like, she's only really mean. She's nice to a lot of people. Like, like, you can tell. But she's also been, like, torn up by this industry. She had to change, like, 7 different times. And for her to stay and bounce between genres and still be relevant and still be powerful, like, that's kind of crazy. Like,
yeah.
Like, we've seen, like, in a movie related, we've seen directors, like, try to take different genres on and just, like, fail miserably, but be really good directors in the one they're good at. It's not for everybody, and she's been able to tap her toes into everything and still be relevant. It's crazy.
Well, it's funny that you say that because, like, even in the last, what has it been, like 2 or 3 months or so, I think her moving out of country kind of created this space that we didn't really think was going to happen.
Would you call it a blank space?
I would call it a blank space. Then I'd fucking write your name.
You are garbage.
But like Post Malone's trying to go into country right now. Like Beyonce, her new country album. Like there's a void I think that was kind of left with her leaving. But yeah, it's like even the generation after us, like the Gen Zers are like, I feel like they only know her for her pop stuff, and it's like
it kind of gives everybody a chance to not stay like you don't have to stay straight into your realm. Like you don't like just because you come up as one thing, you don't have to stay there. Which for years, like for 100 years of music, basically people stay in their one lane most of the time and like do not leave it. Just do different versions of that stuff. So again, people can hate her, but they can also thank her for changing like how people own music and how you're able to make your own money from it. And like she's the only person to ever like gross $1 billion from just music alone. Like no one's been able to do what she's done. So like, yeah, crazy.
All right, moving on. All right, so number 58 is Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Okay. You know what, Brooklyn? You go first.
One of these numbers is accurate. One of these is like, oh, I think it lost lost a bit of its touch. Like,
don't throw me under the bus like that.
You kept it above the 250 line, which is good. Like if you put it below 250, then we're having a much bigger conversation. But this was what? This was like top 10, top 20.
This was number 9.
Yeah, number 9. Yeah. It's an incredible song. Like, what's her name? Your friend,
Ray.
Yeah, like she already kind of hammered home a lot of the key points of like how simplistic it is. That it's really kind of two chords. My favorite thing, kind of coming into even re-listening to it, is how the bass and the keys kind of play, because you have the guitar that's very simplistic, and you have the drums that are kind of or the drums and the bass that are on the start of the piece, and then the keys are kind of like on the 3 and the 4, so it gives this kind of like natural pace to it. Also like the slide guitar in it as well. The pre-chorus I think is also really pretty. Like the stillness of remembering what you had and what you lost, and then kind of how they ramp into the chorus, and then you kind of get that like similar to how they do it in the intro with the drums. You get like the little and it just kind of brings you right back into it. But yeah, I would say of the cover bands that play at work, I'd say 60% of them have this in their repertoire. You just kind of need to. It's an essential.
Yeah. So what I love about this song the most is the overall sound of it. The instrumentation is just, it's so relaxed, but it's still tight enough that it really carries a lot of the weight in this song. And Stevie Nicks' voice is just so perfect. It's effortless. It feels like floating on a lazy river almost. And you're right. Honestly, that bass line is the big one for me. I really love that bass line in this. It's an incredibly simplistic song that doesn't come across simply. That's the best way that I can put it. It's still absolutely fantastic. There's a reason that Fleetwood Mac still seems to resonate with people past our generation. And Cody, we're gonna go to you. Oh, what's that? Hold on. Oh no, you guys keep going.
Yeah, you should run, you moron.
Force
233, and he's put some like arguably fine to Matt songs as his top 100. Just trash. You're no way you can say Dreams is not. It's your fault. It's 58. It's your fault if you bump this up like where it's fine. I'd be fine if you're saying top 150. But for you to say it's like middle of the pack, absolutely unacceptable.
Not even the best song on Rumors.
I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I think I agree. I have to look at the thing of Rumors.
It's not my favorite, but I think it's the best.
Disagree.
But either way,
Well, then, yeah.
I mean, I
'cause
agree.
You're what, the chain or go your own way?
The Chain, Go Your Own Way,
Yeah.
Don't Stop,
Don't stop.
Okay, but the songs you're listing,
Old Dust Woman.
the songs you're listing, I don't disagree with that people can say that are better, but like they're still top 150 songs. So like at that point, you're still putting it at 233, which is just like, man, I would love to go through your top 232 down and see how many I could just X off the list that are not even close to Dreams. So yeah, Brooklyn wins this
We
by
can,
a
we
landslide.
we can do that.
No pun intended.
I can send you that.
That'll be a different season. That would be a different season if we could.
Yeah, but overall, Fleetwood Mac, like again, if majority of songs from Rumors were on the top 500, I'm not angry at all. So great choice.
Many of them are actually
58's just crazy. Like I was like, okay, this will be the end of the episode. That's still a little weird, but like that's crazy. I expect these both to have it like top 100.
It's
Somebody failed.
I wish you could see my mouse. I'm circling the 233. That is why. That is why it is so low on this list.
Yeah, somebody failed the reading test, so
it's at 58. All right, moving on.
With no help to you. You could have put it at 500. We would be talking about this 4 weeks ago.
Fair. All right, so moving on. Ooh, I forgot to put the name of the artist in the next one. But moving on to number 57. They Reminisce Over You, Troy, by Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Brooklyn, talk a little bit about this while Mr. Producer and I fix this.
I reminisce for a second. Shout out to Chance Ellison. He showed. I think he showed Cody and I this song in a random playlist years ago, and it just stuck with me. The horns are fucking incredible. Just the groove and the beat. How they. I don't really think this song has a chorus. It's a rap song, but it kind of has an American folk setting. Like when the line of like when they reminisce over you, and then when it hits like the my God, and it goes back into it. I think like that's where it gets the recognition. I think why I have it lower than Andrew is because after the second verse or whatever, I'm kind of like, we can start wrapping up. I don't think it doesn't really do a ton to kind of change things, but it's just because that initial like hook and groove is so impactful and it gets you from the second you hit play.
This song hits me emotionally. That Tom Scott sample of the saxophone is absolutely the perfect sample that they could have used to create the kind of mood that they're going for. One that's kind of wistful and reminiscent and, sad. Because this is about a friend of theirs, Troy, who was actually kind of an important person in the hip hop scene. And the first two verses are about the artist, his life, his legacy, like his family. And then you get the third verse where he meets Troy and he's like the one person who really believes in him and pushes him forward and creates a platform for him. And he died very tragically. So it's a song about legacy, and it's just an absolutely lyrical masterpiece, I think. The flow in this is absolutely insane. It's not like technically crazy and lyrical, spherical, miracle kind of thing, but there are little moments here and there where I can't remember the one line, but it's in the second verse where it's like, and I could hear his head banging on the wall in the next room. Like those little moments, just like peppered throughout, keep you so interested in the music. It's just it's both warm and super sad at the same time. And I think that honestly, having listened to it again recently in order to prep for this show, it would actually be higher on my list than it already is. And it's at 32 for me. This might be my favorite hip hop song of all time now that I'm actually listening to it. So
There's an argument for us.
yeah. Cody, you're shaking your head at me.
You listen to Dreams by prepping for this show? I'm just curious
I
as to
did.
where your
I did.
your hypocrisy stops.
Mhm.
I wish there was
Keep
an editing is so hard to find in this community. What I would really appreciate is somebody edits clips all of Andrew like singing the lines to these songs, like as just a montage. It would be one of my favorite clips of all time. I may do that myself. I think it's good. I do a show called Roundtable. We're doing the top 100 movies right now, and Kirk is on the show, and he kind of says, "Now I have to compare everything to this as it goes on." Now I'm comparing everything on this list below to Dreams, and it's just not looking great. Like, I like the song. I think it's fine. I enjoy it. I have fun with it. It is not 57 of all time. It's not even close.
You're right. It's higher.
No, it's not.
So okay, so
57.
My question is 208? Would you put is below
Yeah,
high
that's fine.
or
That's
208's good?
right in the range. That would be in the range. That I would have no issue with. But like when you're talking top 100 songs, like if you had to cut the list of top 100 and drop this off to people that never heard of music, I don't know if this is one that I would include personally. But now Bar saying it would be in my 28 spot. Crazy. You're a crazy person.
Might even make my top 15.
This would jump up all the way to my 31.
I'm just saying, I've done some prep for this work, and give me my half, because this would be 31.5 with a bullet.
I listened to all of the songs again beforehand, and this would be number one on my list for me. All right, moving on before I make myself even a bigger ass. Scenes from an Italian Restaurant by Billy Joel. There we go. Okay. I think I have just tiptoed back into Cody's good graces here. So, Billy Joel would even tell you that this is his best song. I personally disagree. I think there's one song better than this one. However, it's definitely one of his best. The storytelling on this one, it's kind of similar to All Too Well in the strength is it being the storytelling. The story of Brenda and Eddie is just so well detailed with like little things here and there. With a couple of painting from Sears, like that line is just like really, really nice touch. This song also has the benefit of not having only one of the greatest sax solos of all time, but two of them from two different saxophones, one being an alto sax and a tenor sax, I believe. It's just Brooklyn's about to look it up and correct me if I'm wrong.
You're right on one of them, but not the first one.
Okay, fair enough. But it is still two different saxophones, right?
It is, yeah.
Okay, cool. Still, that's great. That like I can't think of another song that I can say that about. Yeah, it's just an incredibly woven tapestry of a song that I tend to think that when you talk to people about Billy Joel, whether you love Billy Joel or you're one of the people that are stupid and hate Billy Joel, this tends to be the one that most people on both sides of the aisle would say is the one that they like the most. And I think there's good reason for that.
So the that solo that you're thinking of at the start is actually a clarinet. Yeah, it's either on the personnel it's listed as clarinet.
It sounds like a saxophone,
but it may even be a soprano sax because I don't think an alto goes that high that often.
Okay, maybe. Well, I'm wrong. It sounds like a saxophone. It's wild.
Yeah, but there absolutely is a saxophone in it. But yeah, but like when I look up the personnel on Wiki, it just has saxophone, not the varying types. But yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you and disagree with you. I agree with you that this is an incredible storytelling song. I love the aspect of basically his parents meeting up again and going through their marriage like post divorce. I think is what it kind of seems like.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with you though in the analogy to All Too Well, in that like musically it's an entirely different beast. There's like four different movements and
Right,
kind of
but
transitions.
I'm saying that the strength of both songs, like the biggest
Is
strength,
in the
is the storytelling.
Yeah, I could see that. I think the intro does a really good job of just like the theme of this list in general is intros setting you into the atmosphere. We've already talked about one of them with All Too Well, this one, and there's another one that's coming up later. But I kind of have a weird take with this. The more that I think about it, I kind of want the song to be longer. There's no one particular like movement, I guess, that really kind of stands out. They're all kind of like individually, and it's like because there isn't really like a like just off the top of my head, like November Rain, for example, has that like face melting solo at the end to you to kind of like really like latch on and remember to. I think Brenda and Eddie is that moment, but it doesn't have that same weight to it as like the other songs with those moments. So I think that's what it gives why it gets the 179 from me. But yes, there is another Billy Joel song that we are talking about later that I almost want to ban at this point. Like it should be retired.
I wonder what one that is. All right, Cody. We know that you're a big Billy Joel fan.
Just gonna cover up here.
179, Brooklyn. You should be ashamed of yourself. Your family shouldn't even be able to look at you. Listen, I just one bar. You are so out. You're so out of your lane. It's not even funny. You're saying like this is a song for people with Billy Joel. Like if you like him or love him, this is the one that people get behind. Hell, common people wouldn't even know this song exists. Like this, sure. You know what? From your neck of the woods, I wouldn't be shocked. But from the rest of the world, where people do not live near a guy that sells out Shea Stadium like it's going out of style, sure. Madison Square Garden, yeah. Like that's neck of the woods, I agree with you. But
Philadelphia,
common people, I know people that think they hate this song because they're like, oh, it's so slow. It's so like boring. I was like, you just listen to the first bit of the song.
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever waited for the kick in. I think it's a fantastic song. If Brooklyn's alluding to the one song that I know, I agree with him. If he's talking about another one, he's stupid and he's out of lane about songs. But if it's the one that everybody knows, it's a great song. But gosh, and if it's higher than this, sacrilegious, absolutely sacrilegious. Like,
really?
Sure. Yeah, like that song should not be higher than this. Like at
Brooklyn's
all.
in
like,
trouble.
Like
moving on.
You're saying, hold on. You're saying it should be retired. If we're talking about the same one, then I agree. Like it's good. Like but it's his most well-known song. If that's it, but,
like the other song. Like we've talked about so much.
No, I know. So then that's why I'm saying like I would put Scenes higher because I think Scenes deserves more spotlight than that song at this point. Like my viewpoint. But again, I'm okay with either. But again, I will listen to this song 10 times over that next one. Because I've heard it so many times.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think 3 years ago, this song is definitely top 50 for both Andrew and I. But I think now that, like, especially me, like, not as high on the Billy Joel hype train, that is kind of like,
well, that's fine. I wonder why. But something may have happened that you hate Billy Joel a little bit more now. But I don't even put this. Like, Scenes is not even in my top 10 Billy Joel songs.
I don't think it.
I like his under stuff more. I like the stuff that people like. That I just grew up on that stuff, so I just like it because it hasn't been overplayed for me. Scenes has been overplayed. There is one overplay song that will still be the top regardless. It could be the top in the next 50 years. It will still be the top. It's fantastic.
So I was going through stuff through the couple bins a couple days ago, and I actually pulled up the piece of paper that had the Elton John and Billy Joel set list that we did from years ago. And I wish I took a photo of it because I'd love to just keep that and see like where my list updates.
That would be nice.
Yeah. All right. I heard a little piece of information that makes me very happy in this We'll talk more about that later. Moving on to number 55 on the list, Allison by Elvis Costello. Brooklyn, you had this a lot higher than I did. A lot higher.
Yeah, I discovered the song through this list. You had been a big proprietor of Give Elvis Costello a chance, and yeah, I drank the Kool-Aid, and it's really tasty. This is the other song that I was alluding to, where the intro just does a really good job of setting up the tone, the atmosphere. Like the song is about Elvis kind of writing a letter to a past lover. After like they had bumped into each other somewhere, and you really hear kind of the anguish in it and whatnot. You talk for a second, Andrew. I want to bring out the guitar because there's one cool moment in the chorus and I want to break down.
Sure. Yeah, I've been a big proponent of Elvis Costello. I love most of his discography. I've got a couple of his albums on vinyl, and it's just one of those songs where you can feel the emotion just oozing out of his performance. Just the way that he sings, like the name alone. It's kind of like a very wistful yearning. And it's just like a really solid performance. The guitar work in this is just absolutely fantastic. It kind of like rivals like Eric Clapton. It kind of has a very similar bluesy kind of style to it.
Clapton kind of did a carbon copy version of this with "Change the World." It's very similar.
It's very similar, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has got one of the best examples of the artist saying the word "stop" and the instrumentation just stops.
Yes, sometimes
it's one of the best examples of that. And that entire second verse, lyrically, that second verse is one of my favorite verses that he's ever written. It's one of Elvis Costello's best pieces, if not his best. But Brooklyn, talk a little bit more about the guitar work, and then we'll go.
Just the chorus and like the I know this world is killing you, because it does this really cool thing of it plays like the minor and then the seventh, and it's like this note here. You don't really see that in transitions anymore. It's got a lot more simplistic in the pop style. So whenever I was learning the song, I was like, oh, that's a really cool way to kind of like just give it its own kind of taste and whatnot. I'll peek behind the curtain, I guess, a little bit, because when we had sent this list to Cody, one of the things that Andrew and I were kind of worried about was the ending. Because I really like the ending, but I could see people being like, you're beating a dead horse. Like, you don't have to like fade out into that kind of echo. But I'm curious to see what he has to say. But Andrew, I'll let you send it off to Cody, because that's your job.
I mean, real quick, check out the Lydia Loveless cover of this song. They do an amazing cover. But yeah, Cody, let's go to you.
Did you know my aim is true?
I knew it.
Damn it.
No, so I've been on record to, I think, bar for sure, that I don't like Elvis Costello. I'm not a huge fan. This song really worked for me. This song worked for me, surprisingly. I actually enjoyed it. It was close to my veto list because I just by name alone, I was like, I could see this veto. I just keep All Too Well as it is. We'll switch it to Taylor's version just to make it like seem right. Like without using a veto, I think that would have been a fair move. Just not the 10-minute version, and call it and then just veto this in. No, I was surprised. I cut it off after like the 3. My aim is true. Like I knew I was like there wasn't so much I was missing. I just did a self-edit on that, so it didn't kill it for me. But like, shut that. Why? Like, that's just nonsense. Like, hey, we need a certain runtime. We need it to be this long, and we're just gonna say it, and we're gonna say it, and we're gonna say it. It just overkill for me. But overall, everything leading up to that point works great. Like, works really good for a person that's never heard the song. So.
Yeah, I personally will just like quickly say that I think the ending works for me because the vocals and that line suddenly become part of the instrumentation. But I think it works that way.
You know me so well. 24 episodes. I love the instrumentation.
Yeah.
It's just nothing does more than when you blend in with
Cody, don't you, when I was thinking about this song, I was
What
like,
key
man,
was that?
I know
G?
that. Yeah, I know that Cody's gonna appreciate that last chord they throw in "My Aim Is True." It's like,
things.
Okay, let's move on to number 54, 99 Problems by Jay-Z. So the second verse. It's the second verse in this song that absolutely solidifies its spot on my list for me. It's just so well detailed and written. Like, you can visualize the entire interaction between him and the cop. And it taught me a lot about the law, actually. So thanks for that, Jay-Z. I wasn't doing any what you were doing in that verse, but I learned from that. So thanks. But Rick Rubin's production on this is just absolutely stellar. It's got some very commonly sampled pieces in there. Like, a lot of other songs have used like that drum, but like it's so tightly pieced together, and there's so much power in it, especially with those guitars. That guitar just adds so much to the performance of this song. And it's not just the second verse. The first and the third verse are also really tightly written. And his performance on this is just like, he's got one of those personalities that when he talks, you listen, even if it's not that well written of a verse, but you listen. Yeah, it's just a really, really cool piece altogether.
Yeah, you took what I was going to say. The second verse, I got two choices. Y'all pull over the car or bounce on the double, put the pedal to the floor. I think I don't think we get the song without NWA and kind of like that, like that trailblazer of like really showing the injustice and kind of like the flaws of the justice system, and then like he got all that rage really out of that like span of the 90s, and then Jay-Z came in and was like, let's give this like some smarmy kind of wit to it, and like you get that in the second verse with the conversation between him and the officer. So I think it's a really cool way to kind of tackle it, and I just like how simple. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I like the simplisticness of the guitar as well. Like it's just really two chords, and it's the sustain that it has. Like it's weird because you wouldn't necessarily think this as like a rap rock song. Like it really just kind of like it hides the rock elements of it really well. But yeah, there's a version of me that wish that Cody vetoed this version for the Collision Course version that they do with Linkin Park, because that one is fucking incredible. Like they just lean into the rock at that point. So
all right, Cody, 99 Problems, number 54. Ooh, that was a happy coincidence. Go ahead.
I would like to do a dramatic reading.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, fuck the critics. You can kiss my whole asshole. If you don't like my lyrics, you can just press fast forward. Lyricism. Overall, I'm not a huge Jay-Z fan. Just not. He's never been like my favorite rapper. This song gets the pass basically for iconicness. Like I think it's very important for the rap genre to have 99 Problems on there, because like most like, I don't know a more iconic like opening, maybe Straight Outta Compton, but like opening to this song, like I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Like that's just like, that's ingrained in pop culture. Like that's it. Like that is a huge spot. So no, I respect it more than I like it. It's definitely like the higher end of Jay-Z. So for me, so I respect it. I have no issue with it being on the list at all.
Cool. Also, something just tells me in like the back of my mind that you may not even know his name, but I just feel like you would be like you're a big Rick Rubin appreciator, the guy who produced the song. Like
Probably.
he's like behind this song, most of the Beastie Boys early stuff. Like anytime there's like that rap rock kind of like blend, it's usually Rick Rubin behind the production board.
He's the equivalent to the Wrecking Crew.
The motherfucking Wrecking Crew, number 53. God only knows by the Beach Boys.
Yeah. What a great transition. So intense leading into God only knows. Motherfucking Wrecking Crew.
I'll one up Andrew. The motherfucking French horn in this song and like just again that intro, it fits very well to the vocal qualities of Brian Wilson. I think Brian Wilson's the lead on this. Yeah. So he kind of has like a raspy kind of breathiness to it. I like the song and kind of like what it's about. There was that like Bill Paxton show on HBO. They used it as the intro.
Oh, Big Love.
Big Love, yeah, the one about him having multiple women. So when I hear the song, it kind of reminds me of like, it's almost like a song for like Barney Stinson, if you know what I mean. Where it's like, I hate commitment, but it's like God, like I feel like the singer is like just telling this to like any person that they can, and it's like trying to like latch onto them, if you know what I mean. Like, and I feel like that's what. Like, well, I feel like that's what they're trying to go for in the round section of it as well, where it's just like it's them like kind of like passing it off of like, yeah, I'll say it to this person and then this person, and like it really loses the weight of the statement. I guess that's how I interpret it, but I could be crazy.
I see it more as like a universal thing, like how multiple people could like have this feeling of having that one person that, you know, they're so lucky to have found. Yeah, that's how I see that, at least. And that's my favorite part of the song, actually, is the beautiful like interplay of all of the different singing voices coming in during that part. That's the part that I think just locks it into the place on the list for me. The motherfucking Wrecking Crew. Like, the instrumentation on this is just like fantastic. I love like the horse clopping that kind of like interweaves throughout the instrumentation on this. It's a stupid idea in theory, but it works incredibly well for some reason. That's Pet Sounds for you, though. Yeah, it's just a really sweet piece. There's a reason that I think Paul McCartney like fucking loved this song. So, yeah, well deserving. Cuddy.
I mean, you said Paul McCartney loved this. Yeah, because it sounds like something he should have done. Like this sounds so like a Paul McCartney. Like if you told me Paul McCartney was singing this, I probably wouldn't have like really did much research. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Paul and John were super jealous of the Beach Boys, especially after this album.
Well, I imagine that makes sense. That does check fully. Great song. Not one that I like go to all the time, but it's very lovely when I hear it. Very simplistic, very like his vocals are so nice in it. So no, I have 43 from Brooklyn. I think that's the shocker of the like for me. Like I have no issue, but I just didn't see it being 43 for him. But like he has more taste, you can just tell in his like top 100 than Bar. Bar has more like just bullshit, and Brooklyn likes to represent a lot of things. So
Brooklyn doesn't like to have Billy Joel in his top 100. Got it.
I regret not. Well, that he has a thing that is clearly the reason for that. His trauma is real, and he has been affected, which he's allowed to. The only issue I have is that no, Brooklyn, you just have some trash takes, and you just need to be. I regret giving you the win in that first contest. That's my mistake. I will not make those same mistakes later.
Interesting. Okay.
You're just lashing out because you got your number one song vetoed for me.
Fuck you. Moving on to number 52 on the list. Gonna put my NPR voice on. Redemption Song by Bob Marley and the Wailers. Brooklyn? Uh-oh.
So this is a
He's on
song
a
that I
bit of a delay.
listen to all the time. Oh, sorry, did I cut out? I'm gonna leave. So yeah, I don't listen to this song a ton, but it's a great one to revisit every now and again. Like it fits that songwriters circle aspect of it really well. Like it's just him and the guitar. One of the things that I really enjoy, and I think it's a commonality in almost all the songs we're talking about, is the second verse. And they really get a sense of the emotion of the song, and like you really hear it in like the emancipate yourselves from mental slavery, none but ourselves can free our minds, and just how he kind of like goes off of the melody to kind of give the impact of it. The chorus as well, like these songs of freedom, because all I ever have, it's just like it's simplistic. It's the same reason that I love like Nick Drake and that sort of style. It's like it's the best version of that. Like we were talking about like Adele previously, and how like what's the fucking song? Easy on Me. How like songs can be too simple. This you can't really apply that to this.
Yeah, the simplicity is the selling point of the song, because there's an intimacy with this one. You can hear a weariness in Bob Marley's vocals in this one, and it just brings you in even more and makes you listen to the lyrics even more. And lyrically, it is a very moving piece, because you can tell how personal it is for him. I've said this once and I'll say it again. I think Bob Marley was truly a real genius when it came to music. And this is one of the songs that I think really cements that legacy for him. But Cody, I'm very curious to know your thoughts on this one.
I definitely didn't love this song overall. Again, I don't have a ton of like listening to Bob Marley. Like he is definitely one that is like highly reviewed, like loved, and like you can tell if that's your kind of music, like sure. And I can even see if it's like not your type of music. I'm just really hard to please when it comes to music. Like I like what I like, and I don't really like to venture out of what I don't like. And that seems to be the case on these ones. I was really surprised that this one made it. Like I know this is one that doesn't cross like the regular Joe song list for me. Like I don't know this song outside being put on this list. So like, and he has stuff that is definitely on the list, like people that like, oh, I definitely know that song. So I was a little surprised, but again, it would feel wrong of me to veto it for not being my genre versus me thinking it's a bad song. So that's why I left it. I think it's good. I think it's good for that. I think it's worth a listen, because even if you don't know a lot of Bob Marley, this could be a gateway into listening to more Bob Marley. So yeah.
So we've already talked about a Bob Marley song, or I guess we've already talked about a bunch of them, but the one that I listen to the most, Could You Be Loved? Would you swap any of those songs? Oh shit! Oh, never mind. Oops. I thought we already talked about it.
Nope.
I was just curious. So yeah. Tune out to future episodes.
Yay!
You just said tune out to future episodes.
Yeah.
You don't fucking watch.
That's
Go
what most
fuck
people.
away.
That's what I do during most of these recordings, anyway.
Payson, go away.
All right, don't scare away our one viewer. Moving on to the final song on this playlist, "Suspicious Minds" by Elvis Presley. Brooklyn, you have this in your top 100. Go ahead.
Now, Cody.
Brooklyn has an Elvis song in top 100.
Now it's going to be with a grain of salt. It's going to be with a grain of salt, because I think that you could take out Elvis Presley and replace him with anybody, and this would still be in the same spot. The person that needs recognition on this is Chip's Moment, the producer, and how he arranged everything. The drum kit in this is incredible. And how it kind of matches up with the guitar. Like the guitar has this real kind of like pluckiness to it, for lack of a better term, and just how it drives that beat forward. And then like the harmonies and the choruses as well. I said it before. I like the song because it doesn't sound like an Elvis song, that typical rockabilly or whatever. It's weirdly simplistic, I guess. Like it doesn't do like even a couple weeks ago we were talking about like Wichita Lineman, which would have come out around the same time, and those are contrastingly different songs, but I think they're both the same quality wise.
Well, Brooklyn, you're right. It doesn't really sound like a lot of other Elvis songs. This song came out in 1969. So this is one of those Elvis songs that actually not only caught up with the time, it may have been a little ahead of it. Because it does kind of have this kind of like 70s glam, like almost disco kind of influence to it. The guitar line in this song is just instantly memorable. It's one of my, I don't want to call it one of my favorite guitar lines of all time, but it is one that I recognize immediately right away, and I do love a lot. The horns in this song are fantastic. Like, I think that's the best part of the production, are the horns in this, because they come in and they are in your face, but they're not overwhelming you or Elvis's vocals on this. His interplay with the backing singers is really tight. And when they slow the song down a little bit, like Elvis was a really good crooner in a sense. Like I feel like if he wasn't a rock star, he kind of would have had a similar style to like the big band, like Frank Sinatra era.
Well, when you think about like everybody that impersonates him, it's based off of that crooning mentality. Like there's an emphasis on that swagger, I guess, that he had in his delivery.
Mm-hmm. And we got to talk about the fade, like towards the end. It was just a really interesting production choice. It kind of fits into that like Otis Redding, James Brown kind of like throw the cape on over the shoulder as you're walking away and being like, I gotta keep going kind of thing. But it works really well in this song. It doesn't come across as a gimmick, which is not easy to do. So yeah, it's a really, really great song. Cody, what's your thoughts on this one? I think this is going to be the last time we talk about Elvis on the show.
Oh, shame. Brooklyn just sucks. Brooklyn doesn't like music. He wishes he carried enough passion in his pelvic region as Elvis did for his entire career. Listen, my dog's angry too. My dog's pissed that you have no. Suspicious Mind, I think, is really good. I strongly disagree. I don't think you can replace him with anybody. I think his voice works really well in the song. But I do agree. I think if you had to like rank it as the most top, it would arguably be like the people, the accompaniment of this song. Like it works so much better with all that. So totally agree with that. I have no issue with that whatsoever. I think it's a really good song. Is it my favorite Elvis song? Probably not. Probably Can't Help Falling in Love with You. But overall, this song is probably the most unique and way ahead of its time. So, yeah. Good choice.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for this section of our playlist. Let's recap this real fast. Number 60 is California Dreamin' by the Mamas and the Papas. Number 59 is Taylor's version of All Too Well, the 10-minute version. Number 58 is Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. Number 57 is They Reminisce Over You, Troy by Pete Rock and Seal Smooth. Number 56 is Scenes from an Italian Restaurant by Billy Joel. Number 55 is Allison by Elvis Costello. Number 54 is 99 Problems by Jay-Z. Then we have God Only Knows by the Beach Boys at 53. Redemption Song by Bob Marley and the Wailers at 52. And then we cap it off with Suspicious Minds by Elvis Presley. I have just dropped the playlist for the next episode in the group chat. Cody, what are your first impressions? This is top 50 now. Don't forget.
That's Grace.
Oh. Everybody. Oh. Okay. Oh my gosh. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Some iconic that definitely deserves a consideration. One song that literally just came back into popularity that definitely deserves the popularity it has.
Mm-hmm.
And a band that everybody knows I love, and I have no veto for. So my thoughts will be quick.
All right. Well, with that being said, thank you all for watching. We've been going over an hour now. That is Cody Newberry. That's Brooklyn Vale. Yeah, there we go. And I'm Andrew Barr. Thank you all for
Driving safe.
watching. Keep on
Flip the
rocking.
cars.